Jon Favreau just like calls up his buddies and it's like, hey, like, you want to be on the show today? Like, sure, why not? We just... Hey guys, welcome back to Fly By Night Reviews. I'm your host, Kiren.
I'm Dom.
Today we're going to do a review of The Mandalorian Season 3, Episode 6, called Guns for Hire. Dom, what'd you think of this one?
It was one of the slower ones for me. It was okay, but it was probably still like one of the weaker ones for me for the season.
I don't know. It's like I'm kind of seeing a pattern with some of these episodes. Like they start off kind of like, oh, this is going to be kind of bad, and
right.
Then it kind of like there's a part in the episode that sort of redeems the episode.
Yeah.
I felt that way, but I also was like kind of disappointed because the last episode kind of ended a certain way, and then it's almost like this episode sort of like bypassed that.
Yeah.
And
yeah, it seemed like there was something they missed something they could have done with just between where it ended and where this one started.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like, I know it's like, because the first and second season, each episode, or at least maybe the first season, they were kind of their own thing.
Right.
And I thought maybe this season they would maybe try to kind of make them like more like one big story rather than just like separate.
Right.
But it's like they're still kind of in that sort of pattern, and
mission of the week kind of.
Yeah. I think I'm just kind of done with that sort of formula. But we're going to talk about spoilers at this right now. So if you haven't seen the episode, recommend go watch it and come back, leave a comment, let us know what you think. So yeah, the like, what was it? The rogue Mandalorians.
Oh right,
pop up.
The mercenary faction that used to be the Night Owls, I guess.
Yeah. Like, see, there's another in those like weird kind of like sea creature looking things.
Oh, oh shoot, I forgot what they're called. But yeah, they're from the same planet as the Mon Calamari.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
And it was very Star Trek-y. Like, I was kind of getting a Star Trek vibe.
Yeah.
This episode. And yeah, so basically those Mandalorian, the faction of the Mandalorians were like, I guess had a bounty for one of is like the prince or something.
Yeah, the Mon Calamari prince.
I keep thinking of calamari. Like,
I think that's probably where they got the name.
Some calamari. So they kind of, I guess, they have a bounty and they take him. I thought something else was going to kind of come of that, and then all of a sudden it was just like, nope, that's it. A lot of that in this show. It's like
I saw something online where somebody pointed out that he was actually. It could have been like when the first episode when they're going through when he brings in the first bounty, he's going through other bounties to send Din on, and one of them that pops up is a Mon Calamari royalty.
Oh, okay. So they're trying
to. That could be a callback. Yeah, okay. Callback to that. But we'll see.
I mean, it's just sort of like another thing where it's like a new species of people that goes nowhere, an introduction to a character that kind of goes nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of that has been happening in this show. It's like they'll kind of like show somebody and then it's like you'll never see them again. It's like kind of like episode 3. It's like they haven't really went back to the guy who was the scientist who did all.
Oh right, Pershing.
Yeah, Pershing. So yeah, kind of. After that, it goes. We sort of follow Din and Bo-Katan, and they're kind of flying. They go to this planet where supposedly those faction of Mandalorians are, but then they
actually see them.
Yeah, but they get sidetracked. By this kind of thing.
Yeah, the computer system of the city kind of just takes over, and
and then we get Jack Black pops up like. That's another thing. It's just like cameos out the ass on this show. Like, it's almost like Jon Favreau just like calls up his buddies and it's like, hey, like, you want to be on the show today? Like, sure, why not? Let me just get my thing and, let's go and do it, whatever. And
Jack Black and Lizzo, and yeah.
Yeah, and so it's like, so basically,
I was happy to see Christopher Lloyd though.
yeah, he's looking old though, man. I mean, I know he was old like back in the future, but like, or Back to the Future, but still, man, it's like he's looking old. But anyway, they talk with Blackjack's character, who's some kind of like royal or king or I don't know what he is.
Some sort of monarch, yeah.
And basically, there's all the droids are kind of malfunctioning throughout this like domed city, and they basically they ask Din and Bo-Katan to help find out like what's wrong with these robots. So that's when we meet Christopher Lloyd's character, who's like kind of like
he's the head of security.
Yeah, so he's just kind of doing his thing, whatever, and so it's kind of like another kind of side quest within an episode, which it was like, okay,
very Scooby-Doo-ish.
Yeah, let's see this where this takes us, and they go to like more of the city, and they kind of find a droid, and we kind of like get introduced to like the prequel droid.
Oh yeah,
that we're all familiar with. The PTSD when you hear their voices, like, oh, brings me back.
I don't like sand.
But yeah, and then they kind of like they find out, oh, these robots have these nanobots that are kind of controlling them, right. And they do like that was totally like Blade Runner, like.
Oh yes, I got the Blade Runner vibes.
Enhance.
Well, the enhancer, but even the chase scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guarantee that was a Blade Runner throwback, because I was like, even that little scene where they were kind of zooming in, it was like total Blade Runner.
It's like Blade Runner, but cleaner.
Yeah. And then, so they go, okay, they find this code that's on, or this writing that's on the thing, and they kind of link it back to Christopher Lloyd's character, who's, I guess, a separatist, and he gets kind of caught. They go back and, like,
drops the Count Dooku reference.
Yeah. Which, I know the prequels, a lot of hate, and I don't really like them that much, but it's been, like, 20-something years, so it's like, it feels like, okay, those,
Yeah.
It's still kind of cool hear them talk about the prequels and stuff like that. But,
the prequels had cool ideas, just not a lot of great execution.
Yeah. But then, okay, so they find out this guy did it, and then it's just like, yeah, that was like the Scooby-Doo moment. Like, I would have got away with it if it wasn't for your pesky kids.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, never see him again, probably. It'd just be like, see ya. And then they like... Somehow the Mandalorians always get gifts, like, here you go, here's the key to the city, here's like...
Grogu is now a knight.
Yeah, it's just like, wow, it's just like every episode there just seems to be some kind of special ceremony.
He's not a Jedi Knight, but he's a knight now.
Yeah. And then...
Takes them to the Mandalorians.
Yeah, they finally go to the place where they've, like, came to the planet for.
Yeah.
And then they meet I forgot his name, but... she basically challenges him in order to like get them back, on their side or whatever. And then somehow they fight, and there's like not a drop of blood. Get punched in the face, no blood in sight. Just
for some reason, it's a cool like. There's like the fight, the action scenes. I don't know if it's more so this season than any. It's just like there's like a cool setup, but the scenes just kind of feel lacking.
Yeah, there's definitely a kind of... They're not very well choreographed, I guess you can say that.
Yeah.
I don't know. And then... Yeah, so it was just, it was an okay fight, and then all of a sudden, like, Din's like, hey, I want to give you my Darksaber. And then he's like, oh yeah, she saved me, so she can take it now. He's like, okay, I guess that's what's going to happen now. So it was almost like... That's what should have happened in the beginning of the season. Like, it should have been Din and Bo-Katan battling.
Yeah, pretty much after she saved him. He's like, okay, I guess this Darksaber's yours now.
Yeah, I was just like, oh, that was easy. Like, barely an inconvenience. So it was just sort of like, I was like, okay, cool. She's finally got the Darksaber, but it's just like the execution of how she got it. And I just feel like this season, like, the writing is just not up to like par, or it's getting worse, or I don't know what's going on, but it just kind of like...
Yeah, it's... I don't know. A lot of people are like, "Oh, Dave Filoni is so great," and I just think it's becoming a little too Dave Filoni.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think he's good, but yeah.
I mean, we're episode 6. There's 2 more episodes, and it just feels like it hasn't really moved like the story along, and
Yeah.
it's just like they need to focus on one like part of the story and just like
Go with it.
yeah, have each episode kind of have a bit of that, you know, in each thing, and it just seems kind of like, you know,
They're trying to figure it out as they go along.
yeah, but that's it. Well, that's it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed that. As always, if you like this video, be sure to like and subscribe. Let us know what you think. Do you think The Mandalorian's getting better, or do you think it's getting worse? We'd like to know. Leave a comment. On that note, we will catch you next time.
Peace.